All right, so the court calls cause numbers, three different cause numbers, 79479E in the interest of the Jackson child, cause number 100390E in the interest of Harris Jackson, and 100391E in the interest of Green. So let's start on that first Jackson case and find out, get announcements for who is on that case. And if you're confused, just let me know because I'm confused.
Okay. Melinda Powell appearing for the department for Jasha Jackson. The St. Francis Permanency Specialist for that case is Shay Cairns.
Shay Cairns. And that Jason Jackson is the name of the child in that case, correct?
Jasha, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so who else is on that case?
Judge, my name is
Your Honor, Merit.
Sorry, Meredith,
Sorry.
go ahead. My bad.
No problem. Your Honor, Meredith Graff appearing for Roxana Collins, who's the mother of this child.
Roxana Collins. Just give me a second here. Mother of, did you say Jason or Jacob or neither?
Ajasha.
No,
Jason.
right.
Ajasha is a child there, Judge.
Okay, could you spell that for me? I know it's in my notes, but
AJ, yeah, AJASHA.
Okay, thank you. All right, that
And
just
she is also she's also the mother of the youngest child,
right.
the green child.
Right, okay. So Ms. Graff represents the mother of Ajasha, and so then who else do we have on that case?
Judge, my name is Vince Nowak, and I represent Jason Jackson, the father of Ajasha.
Okay, and then Ms. Zavala, you represent the child?
Your Honor, I do represent Ajasha.
And you represent her in the case where she's the mother as well?
No, Your Honor. We don't have a case.
I'm sorry.
We've got 3 different children in 3 different cases. I do represent all 3 of them. Ajasha herself is not a mother yet.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I thought I had straightened all this out in my mind, but obviously I didn't. So, okay, so I think it would be easier for me if we just started with talking about what's going on with her. She's 16, and so and Ms. Cairns is the worker on that one. So let me ask Ms. Cairns to please raise your right hand, and also Ms. Collins, the mother, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony given in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Powell, I'm going to let you kind of take the lead on this one just because I'm still kind of confused, and we could talk about Ajasha and how she's doing and what is the situation with her parents.
Okay. Shay, will you, and there you go. Shay, you're the worker on the case, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and in regards to Ajasha, where is Ajasha currently placed?
She does not have placement. She's still on the run.
Okay. And how long has she been on the run?
Since the 9th.
Of March?
Yes, I apologize.
Okay. And this isn't the first time that she has run, is that correct?
The last time she ran and came back within the same 24 hours.
Okay. Do you have any, have you received any leads in where Ajasha may currently be?
We believe she's in Amarillo somewhere, but we have not been able to locate her.
Okay. Have you gone to locations where you think she may be staying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And has she been put on, is it NECMEC?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Is there at this time like a special investigator who is also attempting to locate her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, in regards to the father, Jason Jackson, have you had contact with Mr. Jackson?
No, I have not.
Okay. And Judge, just for the record, Jason Jackson is also the father on Harris Jackson. So, just not to duplicate.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay.
Has Mr. Jackson engaged in any services at this time?
No, he has not.
Okay, so would it be your testimony he is not in compliance?
Yes, ma'am.
What attempts have you made to contact Mr. Jackson?
Well, I don't have a working phone number for him. I've done searches. I tried to reach out to him on Facebook. I went by the address that was last on file. I haven't been able to find him.
Okay, I was gonna say, it does, we do have an address for him, correct?
Yes, I do.
And you've been by that address?
I have.
What's the results when you go by that address?
Nobody answers the door for me.
Okay, have you reached out to any family members to try to contact him?
I've reached out to Ginger and she hasn't heard from him either.
Okay, who's-
His mom.
Okay, his mom, thank you.
Right.
Do you have any other information to report in regards to Jason Jackson?
No,
Okay, now in regards to Roxanna Collins, do you have contact with Miss Collins?
yes, I do.
Okay, and Judge, also for the court's information, Miss Collins is the mother of Waylon Green, which I understand you haven't called yet, but just to not duplicate
Thank you.
information. Okay. How is your contact with Miss Collins?
We talk almost weekly. So we keep in contact fairly often.
Okay, you said at least weekly. Now, at the beginning of this case, there was frequent emails. Has that issue been resolved?
Yes, it has.
Okay. How is Miss Collins doing in regards to working services?
She's completed her services and she's continuing counseling
Okay, where is she doing counseling?
at Jennings.
Okay, have you received reports from Jennings in regards to those counseling sessions?
Yes.
Okay, is she, without going into a lot of detail, how is she doing in the counseling?
He said she's doing well and just recommended that she come for more sessions. And we got that approved and sent in for her.
Okay, and who's doing the counseling sessions?
Stephen himself,
Okay.
Jennings. Mhm.
Now, did you receive some sort of written recommendation from Dr. Jennings?
Just that she continue. That was all I got from him. And he
Okay.
did ask about family therapy.
Okay, and is that something that St. Francis is gonna request as family therapy?
Yes, it was more for Ajacia and her. But once Ajacia comes back, we'll get that sent in.
Okay, and why is there a recommendation for family therapy between Ms. Collins and Ajacia?
Just so they can be able to be a little more open with each other, just kind of work on that. My Ajacia and Roxanna both expressed that it probably would help. Well,
Okay.
last time I spoke with Ajacia, so
Now, has Ms. Collins been submitted to drug testing?
yes,
Has she submitted to the drug testing in a timely manner?
2 separate occasions, 3 separate occasions, she has not.
Okay, and when was the last time she drug screened?
On March 4th,
Okay, and the court report indicated that she was negative, is that correct?
on her UA, yes.
Okay, did she submit to drug screening the same day you asked her to submit, or did she wait several days?
On this one, she went the next day. And I also submitted her for a nail test and they said that her nails were too short.
Okay, well, did you ask her to submit the same day that you sent her?
I believe I asked her to go the next day by noon.
Okay, and did she go by noon?
Yes, the next day.
Now, obviously Ajacia's on the run, can't be returned home due to being on the run. In regards to any of in regards to Ajacia, and I'm gonna ask about Waylon, is there a continuing danger for the children to be returned to Miss Collins at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that continuing danger?
Some of the drug screens were still positive for marijuana and there was another concern with Waylon's hair. Not doing the nail test is kind of concerning because I've asked her to do it for a month and, I did ask her to do it in February and then in March and they were still too short. That goes a lot back further than hair. I'm just concerned with possible usage of something. Especially for Waylon.
Mental health has been a concern during this case, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Other than counseling, is Ms. Collins receiving any type of mental health treatment?
No.
Did she do any type of evaluation?
Yes, there were no recommendations.
Okay, and have you seen that recommendation, or I guess lack of recommendation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the initial permanency hearing. What is the goal in the case?
Currently it's still at reunification.
Okay, and do you anticipate that if Ms. Collins continues engaging in counseling, Ajacia can be located and they begin that family therapy? And if Ms. Collins will submit to the required drug screening, that reunification will remain the goal?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other information for the court at this time?
Not this time, not on Ajacia, no.
Okay, I pass the witness in regards to Ajacia, Judge.
Right, so just as to Ajacia, does anyone else have other questions? Ms. Archer?
Ms.
Not
Archer.
up to that client.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wouldn't you know? Ms. Graff? Mr. Graff?
Miss Graff. There is a Mr. Graff, but that's my husband.
He's not here.
He works on the other. No, he works on the other side of these cases, Your Honor, and not my court, not my county. So, Ms. Cairns, isn't it true you did come and do a home visit with the idea of placing Ajacia with my client?
Yes, I went by the home.
You-
Yes.
And did you check out the house and see there was no problems?
Yes.
So is there any reason why Ajacia, if she could be found, couldn't be placed with my client? Is there any reason?
No, not this time for her. Since she's older.
Would you recommend that she be placed with my client when she's found? Would you recommend to the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, we would ask the court to allow Ajacia to come home to mom as soon as she can be found. It is my understanding she's made a couple of calls this month through a text now phone. Mom doesn't know where she is, but if she calls again, if the court would order that, then we believe that she would return home. And we believe that that would be much safer for her than wherever she might be at this time.
Thank you. And do you know,
Ms. Karen,
is that what Ajacia would want? Does she want to return to her mother?
Yes, she does.
it is my, yeah,
Go ahead, Ms. Graff.
yeah, it is my understanding. So Ms. Cairns, I guess we're just talking about Ajacia now, so I'll save the other questions I have. Oh, I do want to ask you, so why is it my client's fault, Ms. Cairns, if her nails are too short for the testing center to do a nail test? Why is it her fault?
Well, she found out about the nail test on 2/4, went back on 2/5, nails were too short. But in March, she knew the nail test was going to happen. That gave her nails a month to grow.
But you
They
do
should have been
understand
long
she
enough.
works, you do understand she does home cleaning and the nails may break and whatever when she does home cleaning, correct?
Yes, but they don't just take from one nail, they take from all of them. And I believe if I was tasked to do a nail test, I would keep my nails longer to show that I don't have any drug use.
Isn't it true that a nail test and a hair test basically are also just testing metabolites in those body items?
I'm not a scientist, I can't speak to that, I apologize.
You do know that Ms. Collins' hair has been growing out, correct?
Yes, I do.
Is there any reason why she couldn't have a hair test on the hair that's grown out that could substitute for a nail test?
Well, she had one back in February. She would have another next month unless the court orders one today. and her hair was positive for marijuana in February.
Is there any reason why we couldn't ask the court to order a hair test that could be done today or by noon tomorrow? Whatever is available for the testing center, so that we could see what that is as of now, as opposed to early February? Is there any reason why we couldn't do that?
No, we can.
Okay, Your Honor, we would ask the court to order a hair test today to be taken from the hair that has grown out, so that this requirement of metabolites could be fulfilled, since the nails are a problem apparently for the testing center. So we'd like to see that ordered today.
Okay, thank you. Ms.
Thank you.
Do you have
I have
any?
no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Zavala? Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Shay, back at the adversary, mom was ordered not to alter her hair. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that time, prior to the adversary, she had bright red hair, and then at the adversary, she had pink hair, and then at some point it turned blonde, even after it was ordered that she not adjust her hair. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it is just now that we are seeing any kind of roots and mom stopping altering her hair. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, is that why back in February she was sent for the nail exam, because she failed to follow the court's order not to manipulate her hair?
Yes, ma'am.
And then when she was sent on the 4th, February 4th, she had a negative dilute UA. Is that correct? Not just a negative UA?
Yes, it was diluted.
Okay, and at that time, on the 4th, she was told it would be a nail test, and then shows back up on the 5th with all of her nails, toenails cut down.
Yes.
And then was sent again in March, and her nails are still too short to test.
Yes.
Okay. It does look like we've got some roots now, so maybe a hair test may be able to show us what we need, but that's why the nails were brought in the first place.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the reason that the February test was so important was that Waylon, the baby in the other case, tested positive for meth, and everybody else tested clean. Everybody needed to be tested. And so we needed to get mom tested in that timely manner.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Back previously, during over multiple hearings, did mom have to be admonished not to send out so many emails and make so many calls?
Yes, ma'am.
When Ajacia left placement March 9th, what kind of communication did you get from mom compared to what we had seen the whole rest of the case?
It changed drastically.
How did it change?
It became less and less.
So mom, who was emailing over and over and over on a daily basis, when her daughter ran away, she didn't do that same thing? She didn't send email after email, "Where's my daughter?"
No, ma'am.
Is that concerning?
Yes, it is.
Now, could we still, if Ajacia comes back, could we still potentially work with mom for placement if we believe that Ajacia would be safer there than on the run?
Yes, we can.
Are we asking mom to provide the information that we believe she has about where Ajacia may be, so that we
Yeah.
can work on that?
Yes, ma'am.
I pass the witness.
All right, did I skip anybody? And I'm trying to decide which is the best way to, who are the other parties on the Green case other than, that's Waylon's case? The same mother, and we have the same different father?
Yeah. Miss Lucero represents the other father on that one, Judge.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to think of what's in the best interest of time, but maybe the best way to go would be to go ahead and enter some orders on this Ajacia case first before we get to the next. But what are your recommendations, Ms. Zavala, about placement?
Judge,
adjacent?
I apologize for interrupting. May I ask Miss Cairns a quick
I'm
question?
sorry, Mr. Noack, I completely skipped you. Yes, go
That's,
ahead.
that's fine, Judge. And this is not so much a question, but a request for Shay and Heidi. Thanks, first of all, both of y'all for always talking to me on the phone. If you get any contact information on Jason, please let me know, and I'll do the same with y'all. Judge, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I apologize again for skipping over you.
It's always good, Judge. Thank you.
Uh, So, Ms. Zavala, do you have a recommendation about placement?
So I would love for Ajaycia to come back. She has reached out to me 2 times now, just by email. I've asked to see if we could schedule some sort of call. I've explained to her that there are alternative placements we could look at. That if where she is, if we could find out about it, we may be able to explore that as a placement. But that I need to talk with her. She did email me as recently as this morning, but I need a scheduled time or a way for her to reach me, so I will be emailing her back. She's got all of our contact info. I want her to know that we've got options and we can explore options, but I can only do that if I talk to her.
Right. What I would suggest is, it seems to me that once she is located, there needs to be some sort of interview of her with Ms. Zavala, with the caseworker, with, whatever interested parties there are, to determine and to discuss with her what her possible options are. I, on the surface, not knowing about all the background of this, don't really have any objection to her possibly being placed with her mother. She comes back, I think she might be safer there than on the street, but I think that she ought to also consider other options. And then the caveat to that is that I think that I need to enter some orders for some testing for Ms. Collins to have prior to a placement. And that would include, I think, a hair test and a nail test, actually.
And Your Honor, one of my main concerns is Ajaycia was not in school for 2 full years before this case. And she's now on the run and not in school again, and we've got a 16-year-old, and I have no idea what we're gonna do to get her a diploma or any kind of education. So that would be one of my concerns in terms of placing with mom. There would have to be an understanding about what would happen with school.
Right. And I will say again, I said I would consider the idea of placement. I'm not going to order that today because I don't think we have enough information. I certainly don't have enough information to know. I believe Ms. Collins does know where she is. That would just be my guess, that I'm sure if she's contacted other people, I feel sure she's contacted her mother. And so I think there would have to be some really pretty detailed guidelines put in place if she is placed, about she's got to go to school every day, she's got to have therapy. I mean, there's got to be some structure put in place before that placement would happen. I'm just saying that I don't think that, I think it's worth considering that as an option.
Absolutely.
But I would also find that I would order that Ms. Collins have another hair test, which usually they don't want them quite this frequent, but I think it should, with marijuana, it may not be completely gone, but there should be a lesser amount. As if she's not using, there should be a lesser amount if it's a month or 2 months later. So I'm going to order, and I'm ordering, I think there's already an order in place that you not alter your hair, Ms. Collins, and that you not do anything to alter your nails, toenails, or fingernails, and that would order another nail test, say in 30 days, to give time to let those nails at least grow enough that they could get something out of it.
Your Honor, would it be possible for me to call my client to be a witness just for a couple of questions that were raised that I think the court needs to hear the answers to?
Um, you know, the problem is we're really out of time and we've got two more cases after this one. What specific information are you wanting to get before the court?
Well, first of all, I do not believe that my client knows where her daughter is. Her daughter has been very secretive, and I don't believe that she knows where her client is. Number two, once I got this case, Your Honor should be aware there were two previous attorneys who bailed on this case a week after they were appointed. I got appointed in December, and when I was able to read through this voluminous file of all these cases and meet with my client had a great meeting of minds. She has not been harassing St. Francis, the social worker. She's not been filing documents with the court. I know that everybody on this case is aware that she's not been filing documents with the court since I became her attorney. And I know that Ms. Cairns is very well aware that she's not been bothering Ms. Cairns because Ms. Collins and I have regular conversations. We meet with each other face to face. And I believe that is the reason that she hasn't had all these frantic communications via the court by documents or with St. Francis, because she has me and we have a good working relationship. I don't think it has anything to do with her trying to be secretive about the location of her daughter.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Graff, and I do take your word for that, and I don't doubt that that's true. I just I don't know where her daughter is, and I don't know whether she knows or not. I just wouldn't be surprised if she did know, is all I'm saying. But that, be that as it may, it really doesn't have any effect on what I would order in this case. And I think that that the mom is participating in services. I think there's still continuing services that she needs to continue with. She needs to continue with therapy and with family therapy with her daughter once she can be located. I think that would be very helpful to both of them. I think she needs to be continue with drug screen. So I will find that the father is not in compliance with the plan of service, has not been located. Um, let's see. And I really think that's it regarding Jaisha. I will, you know, once she's located, I don't know that I need to make an order, but I think it's important that you all have a family group conference or some sort of a meeting to get together so that everybody can talk about what the possible options are, where she could be placed, if she's placed with her mother, what structure would be set up in order to effectuate that placement and continue the placement. My concern is that if she is placed with her mother, I don't want that to fail. You know, she's 16. It would be terrible if she gets placed back and then the same problems occur and Jaisha has to be removed again. So I think that's the worst outcome. And so I say that not as punishment for Ms. Collins, but as a means of having success with the case and success with a reunification. And I think that Ajacia is at the age where she can participate in those services as well, and she can be ordered to go to school and to go to therapy. And so, so I just raised that as being a precursor to any kind of reunification. Hopefully she'll be located soon. And, you know, her being on Runaway is dangerous. She's obviously not getting any education or any therapy or anything if she's on the street. And the longer that happens, the worse it is. So if any of you talk to her, which I know a lot of you do talk to her because she's contacting people, I know you do urge her to show up at the CPS office and or somewhere that a police department or something so that she can be interviewed and her safety can be determined.
And Judge, just for clarification, you did order Miss Collins not to alter her hair or nails. You said she's to submit to nail drug screening within 30 days. And you also ordered the hair follicle. Are you ordering for her to hair follicle by 4 o'clock today?
I think if y'all can get that appointment, that would be good. I hesitate to do it because I don't know what the schedule is like and what your providers, what they have available.
Shay, can you get that referral made for her to drug screen by 4 o'clock this afternoon?
I sent it in. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Judge, we'd asked that she be ordered to submit today, by 4 o'clock.
Okay, so we'll say the hair test would need to be done by 4 o'clock today.
Thank you, Judge.
This case is actually set for an next permanency review before a final order on July 21st at 9 o'clock. I'm hoping that you'll have, a lot more information and a little bit of certainty in this case before you get to that point. So at this point, I think we should move to the Harris Jackson case. That child is 8 years old. And
Judge, prior to proceeding, there's somebody in the room with Miss Collins. Is there any way we can see who that person is, who's actually in the house with her?
who do you have in the house with you, Miss Collins? And you don't need to raise your hand, please. Who do you have with you? You're on mute.
I'm figuring, I just got this computer. I have my roommate and her daughter's friend, Taylor.
Okay. You need
Her
to-
daughter's friend, she's just waiting for her ride. But
Okay.
I have 2 jobs after this hearing. I can go first thing 9 o'clock in the morning, but I can't reschedule those jobs. I just started, they're new clients.
What jobs are you talking about?
I do self-employed housekeeping and I just picked up 2 new jobs. One's a business and one is a personal house. And I'm supposed to go today after this hearing. But I can go 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't have any jobs or anything tomorrow morning or tomorrow all day. And with the hair, it was a temporary hair dye. We've already talked about that. I have the bottle still in the bathroom. I haven't altered my hair. It was a temporary hair dye. That's why it's no longer pink.
Does anybody have any objection to making it by?
Judge, I do. That's been part of the problem in regards to this, is that when she's asked to drug screen, she
I've
does.
drug screened every time when Shay has asked me. She asked me when I'm at my visits and I go right then. There's just one time that I didn't go that day because they did my hair 2 times. One month they did my hair and the company lost my hair and they had to cut it again. And then they sent me back again February. So I had my hair cut 3 times in 2 months. And I'm a female. That's depressing whenever I've never had my hair this short. It's depressing. And they sent me and Shay can answer this. They lost my urine and my hair follicle. They had it under the wrong name. And I had to go back the very next day and get my hair and my urine done again. That's why they sent me to another facility. And that very following month, they told me to get my hair and my nails. I'm a nail biter, but I've been depressed. I've quit smoking cigarettes. I started biting my nails. I quit biting my nails. Me and Shay had talked about that as well. And I am self-employed, but I haven't been biting my nails. I don't
Okay,
have,
Stop.
sorry.
How long does the hair test take? How long does it take to do that when you go?
Usually like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour wait. I mean, I don't have an objection to do it. I'm totally fine to do it. I don't care. I'm fine with that. I mean, I asked her to reschedule it whenever she said I fell for marijuana because I don't believe I did, and she didn't reschedule it. She just did a urine and a fingernail, and I didn't have any fingernails. So I asked her if I could do a hair test again, and she said no.
Stop talking. All right, well,
Sorry.
I'll let you do it by 9 o'clock in the morning, but
Okay.
there's no excuses after that.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
all right, so as to the Harris Jackson child, that child is 8 years old, and tell me the name, Ms. Powell?
Malachi.
Malachi, okay. And who is the mother of that child?
Your Honor, I
That would
represent-
be my client, Your Honor, Ms. Collins. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's Davina Harris. Excuse me.
Harris.
and I represent Davina, Your Honor. And
Who's
she is
that?
not with us today. I spoke to her yesterday in prison and she has asked me to represent her today on this matter.
Natalie, we have her by phone.
Oh, great. She did join. Wonderful. I put an order in, but
Okay. And what about the father on that case? Is that
That's-
your client, Mr. Nowak?
Yes, yeah, Judge, I couldn't find the unmute button. That is Jason Jackson. Yes, Judge.
Okay. And that's the same Jason Jackson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So I don't want to have to repeat things, so I'll take note of the fact that you have not had contact with him or don't have contacting information for Mr. Jackson.
Last time I talked to him was the day of the adversary, and he's kind of gone in the wind since then. And again, for Shay and Heidi, if you get any information, please let me know, and I'll do the same for y'all. Thank you so much,
Yes, sir.
Judge.
Okay. So Ms. Powell, just in the interest of time, I'm going back to you to just give me, if you could give me the short version of what's going on with that case involving Malachi.
And Judge, Mr. Walker's actually has
Oh,
the
okay.
report on that one is reviewing that. The caseworker on that one is Heidi Elliott, and she may be able to give you a brief report.
Okay, because I see that show that the mother is incarcerated and we don't have whereabouts of the mother. So Ms. Elliott, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony given in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I did review that case. I know that there's, it looks like there was an ICPC request made to a grandmother out of state. So it seems like the options for placement are not, we're not coming up with good options. Can you tell me what's going on with that?
I haven't heard back on the ICPC. Malachi has stated that he does not want to be with his grandmother,
Okay,
that she is mean to him. He doesn't have a very good relationship with her. He wants to remain with the Moros where he's at right now.
and is that, what kind of a placement is that?
Fictive kin.
Okay, and how's he doing in that placement?
He's thriving. He's doing really great. He's brought himself up in school. He's caught up on his grade level. He's making A's and B's, getting positive school notes. He's doing really well.
Okay,
And the foster mom has signed him up for track and football, which he's very into sport. So he's really excited about that.
okay. So is it fair to say that neither parent is in compliance with the plan of service in this case?
Correct. Davina's scheduled to get out the end of September. I spoke with a courtesy worker that was assigned to her. When she saw her last month, she did provide Davina with a parenting workbook for her to work on, but I haven't heard from the courtesy worker this month yet.
Okay, let's see. Dismissal date in that is October, so they didn't give her a lot of time, but so I'm just gonna let you all ask questions. Does anybody have questions of Miss Elliott regarding this case involving the child Malachi?
I have a couple, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
Heidi, prior to this case, how long has it been, to your knowledge, since Davina has had contact or interaction with Malachi?
Possibly most of his life. She's always been in and out of his life.
Okay. The report mentioned also home study being done with a maternal aunt. Is that gone anywhere?
No, sir.
Okay, but Malachi is currently with a foster family?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you say Miss Harris has completed some services even though she is incarcerated, is that correct?
No, sir. The only thing that she knew that she has received is a parenting workbook from the DFPS courtesy worker, but I'm not I don't have any updates on if she's begun that. But as far as other services, I don't believe anything else is offered where she's at.
Okay, and has she had any visitation or any contact with Malachi since the case commenced?
No, sir. Not since she's been incarcerated. No, sir.
Okay, and she's due to be possibly released in September, you said?
September 28th.
Okay. No, no further questions at this time. Pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Archer, do you have questions?
No,
All right, if she had no contact with, or was been in and out of his life, as you said, who was he living with most of his life?
He was living with Roxana. She would take care of him.
Oh, okay.
But there's no legal paperwork drawn up for her to have legal guardianship of him.
Okay. All right, Ms. Zavala, any questions of Miss Elliott?
I just want to clarify something. He's not placed in a foster home. It's a fictive kin home.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. They have Waylon. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so he has regular contact with Waylon.
Yes.
And they've been able to keep him in the same school that he was in when he was living with Miss Collins.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the school reports a night and day difference in his behavior, and he's making actually A's now, right?
Yes, and when he was having virtual visits with his dad, after each visit, his behaviors would spiral out of control. And since he hasn't had a visit with his dad, and since the end of December, he's been perfect. Well, not perfect, but close to perfect.
Okay, and has he indicated to you that where he is where he would like to stay?
Yes, he would love for them to adopt him. He's told me that before.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, so is there anything you want to report then, Mrs. Zavala?
No, well, yes, I've met with Malachi in person. He really is doing great. He is interested in having contact with Davina when she's released. He says, I want to talk to her, and I hope she does good. I think he's cautious about it, but so hopefully that can begin once she's released, but under circumstances where he's able to talk to his therapist. He's got a behavioral therapist that he works with, and but he's just doing really amazing.
May I add something, Judge?
Yes, go ahead, Miss Elliott.
Miss Harris, Malachi's mother, had written a letter to him. She sent it to me at the office, and I gave it to him a couple of months ago, and he read over it, and he was quiet, and I asked if, how he felt about it. And he said what Miss Zavala said, he does want a relationship, but he had mixed feelings because he doesn't want her just to walk out of his life again. He wants to be with her, to know her.
It sounds like it would be appropriate to set up family therapy at some point.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, I would like to call my client before we conclude.
All right, just briefly, we're going to try to keep moving. Go ahead, Miss Archer.
Okay, I would like to call Davina Harris.
All right, Miss Harris, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you raise your right hand, please, Miss Harris? And do you swear or affirm that the testimony given in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Archer's going to ask you some questions now.
Okay.
Davina, if you get your diligent participation credit, that's the 80/20 that they give in state jail, when will you be released?
The beginning of July.
And were you able to do any kind of parenting class in prison?
No, they don't have a teacher for parenting.
Did you ever receive a packet?
No, the caseworker, when she came to see me last month, she told me that she would have them make copies of the workbook and send it to me from the CPS office in Amarillo, but I haven't received it.
If you do receive that, are you willing to complete it?
Yes, ma'am.
And do they allow you any Zoom visits with Malachi while you're at that facility?
I don't know. Oh, have they? No, they haven't.
And are you wanting to maintain a relationship with Malachi?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Anyone else have questions of Miss Harris? All right, anything from anybody else? I'm going to go ahead and enter some findings on this case.
I would just request that Miss Elliott or whoever the caseworker is at that location, they could try again to get a packet to Davina, that would be great.
Okay. I know sometimes that is difficult to do. They're bad about stuff getting lost, so hopefully they can do that. I think that would be helpful.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. At this time, the court will find that neither parent is in compliance with the plan of service in this case. Court finds that the child Malachi is in a appropriate placement, that it's in his best interest to continue in that placement, that is meeting all his needs, and that it is not in his best interest to be placed with either parent at this time. The court will approve the permanency plan as adoption by the fictive kin placement. I do think that when and if the mother is released from prison, that any contact between her and the child should be determined by the therapist, and that maybe that could be done in a family, at least started in a family therapy type situation. Because I just think, you know, a child like that can be so disappointed and set back if things don't go as they think they should. So let's see. I believe this case also is set for permanency review before final order on July 21st at 9 o'clock.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Can I ask a question real quick about Malachi?
Yes.
Last time Judge Baker requested that I would get 2 hours, and I've only been getting an hour a month with him. And I've had him since he was a baby. Me and Vina have co-parented the whole time with him. She helps with money and schooling and everything. And I would like to get more visits if I could, please.
I'm not going to address that issue. I don't feel like I have
Okay.
information. And I think that a therapist needs to be involved in making that decision.
I've requested therapy with him as well. It was requested last time at court.
Okay. I'm gonna leave it to Judge Baker.
All right,
Ma'am,
thank
could
you.
Judge, could you repeat that next hearing, please?
July 21st at 9 o'clock.
Thank you.
All right, now we get to little Waylon. And his mother is Miss Collins. And his father is who?
Timothy Green.
I'm sorry?
Timothy Green.
Mr. Green, I see you now. Okay. All right, so that is cause number, third cause number. I called 100391 in the interest of Green. I want all parties to identify themselves for that case. I want to advise you all that we're not going to go through and repeat all the information that we've talked about with Ms. Collins. We've already been through that. So I primarily want to see how Mr. Green is doing, or if there's been maybe contact between Ms. Collins and Waylon. So are you going to handle that one, Ms. Powell, or is that Mr. Walker?
I'm handling that one, Judge.
Okay.
I'm obviously here for the department, and Ms. Cairns is the worker on that one as well. And
Okay.
again, I was gonna ask not to go over all of the information in regards to Ms. Collins again, and just ask that you make the same orders in regards to the drug screening for her.
Okay, thank you. Now, who else do we have on that? Ms. Collins is represented by Ms. Graff.
Laureen Lucero for the father, Timothy Green, Your Honor, and we're both present and ready.
Okay.
And Stacy Sabella on behalf of Waylon.
And
And Ms.
Your Honor, you did notate I am here for Miss Collins, and I'm Meredith Graff.
Yes, I said Ms. Graff, I believe. Okay. And Mr. Green, would you state your name for the record, please?
Timothy Green.
All right. So, little Waylon is about 1 year old. He has been reviewed the file. He's been placed with his father, and as having visits with the mother and siblings. So, Ms. Cairns, what can you tell me? She's been previously sworn. What can you tell me about how that's going? Let's start with the placement with Mr. Green.
It's going great. There are no concerns. He does get to see Malachi when he's there as well. They live right next door.
Oh, that's
But
great.
Yes, everything's going great there.
So what kind of contact does he have with his mother?
He has weekly visits. I believe it's 2 hours. And then he does have a sibling visit.
Okay. So what's the permanency goal as far as he's concerned?
Reunification with Tim. And then obviously Roxanne would be in there. I just don't know how.
Right. Mother's
Yeah, it's a custody situation later, I believe.
right. Okay. She's still working services. And as Ms. Powell pointed out, the same orders that the court put in place in the case involving Ajacia would be, we need to make sure those are in the order also for this case so that it's consistent, so that Ms. Collins isn't repeating anything. She's just having the same requirements in both cases. Is the father, are you asking Mr. Green to do any services at this point?
He completed his. He had parenting and counseling.
Okay. All right, does anyone else have questions for Ms. Cairns? Miss Powell?
I don't have any questions, Judge, but just for the court's information, as we get a little further along in this case, we will obviously be requesting mediation in this in order to come up with some sort of agreement between the mother and father if mother continues engaging in services.
Right, and what I would say, what I hope to see in these cases is where, almost like a divorce situation, where parents can be awarded different types of custody, different visitation schedules, and so forth, and hopefully work together as co-parents for this child. So that would be what I would hope would be the goal. Ms. Graff, do you have any questions for Ms. Cairns?
Sure.
It was
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
last case.
Yeah, so Ms. Cairns, is there any reason, given the fact that my client has completed all of her services and she is going to go and get that hair test tomorrow morning, to expand the visits with Waylon?
I don't have any issue with it, no.
Okay. Your Honor, we would ask that the visits be expanded to either a longer visits or an additional visit per week, whatever can be arranged. I know that this is sometimes difficult with the providers and whatever, but my client has completed her services and she's been very cooperative, as far as I know, since I've been her attorney. So I really would like to see that be acknowledged by the court by expanding her visits.
Okay. Let's see, Ms. Lucero, do you have any questions?
Your Honor, with the prior cases, all my questions that I've spoken with Mr. Green about that we had, I believe they've been covered, so I don't have any additional questions.
Okay, thank you. Well, it sounds like, Mr. Green, that you're doing a great job and you're doing what you need to do. And the most important thing is you're taking care of your little boy. So that's really good to know. And I'm going to give Ms. Zavala a chance to ask questions too. But do you have any questions going forward? Are there any comments you want to make? Anything you're confused about? Mr. Green, can you hear me?
Oh, were you talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah. What was that?
Do you have any questions or do you understand what you need to do in this case?
Could you repeat what you had said, I guess? I
just said
zoned
that
out for a minute.
it sounds like you're doing what you need to do. You're taking good care of your child. And so I'm just wondering if you have any questions about what you need to do going further in this case, or any questions about the case. I mean, you have a good attorney who you can ask questions of, but I'm just giving you the opportunity to ask questions or make any comments if you wish. You don't have to.
Not at the moment, I don't guess.
Okay. And you've got a caseworker and a lawyer, so if you do have questions, you can certainly ask them. Ms. Zavala, do you have questions for Ms. Cairns?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have a recommendation in terms of any kind of extended visitation at this time?
I've been able to visit with Waylon multiple times. He's doing great, very good with his dad. I want to make sure we've got a good drug test in a timely manner, and it looks like we're gonna have that, and it looks like we should have answers. As long as that drug test looks okay, I am good with expanding visitation. I would ask, I think this was a problem from earlier. It may no longer be a problem, but I would ask that parties who are not the medical consenter not contact the medical providers for Waylon. I think there was an issue with Dr. Wright's office, and I would ask that not happen again. So.
Okay. And just to clarify, in these CPS cases, there's always people who are designated as medical consenters. It's usually the caseworker and or the placement, foster parent, whoever has actual possession of the child. So it is important that that person be the one who communicates directly with the providers. Now, that said, the parents do have the right to have medical information of their child, but they need to go through the caseworker or appropriate other parties in the case in order to get those medical records. So at this time, the court will find that Mr. Green is in compliance with the plan of service in this case. Ms. Collins has completed services, but we still have issues about the drug screens. And so I would say that I'm not going to make any specific orders of time, but I think once these drug tests are completed and if there's no concerns that I think that extended visits would be appropriate. We'll continue the child in his current placement and approve the permanency plan as reunification. And I do think, again, that this case would be appropriate for mediation, perhaps after the next hearing. The next hearing is going to be the same as the other two cases, July 21st at 9 o'clock. So we'll have everybody together again at that time, and we can see how things are going at that time. Are there any other issues we need to address?
Not that I'm aware of, Judge.
I want to say thank you to all of you. I know this has been confusing, and I'm sorry that I've been confused and trying to keep up with all this, but hopefully we've been able to address all or most of the issues, and we've gone way over time, so we're going to have to conclude. But I think everybody just needs to keep doing the work that they're doing. I think that you're all going in the right direction, and so that's a positive thing. So there is nothing further from anybody else, then all parties are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your
Thank you,
patience,
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. It's
Thank
always a
you.
pleasure being in your court.